Welkom bij de podcast De Verliescirkel. Ik ben Hanneke Fiddelaers van Expertisecentrum Omgaan met Verlies. En samen met Riet Fiddelaers maak ik deze serie. We voeren gesprekken en interviews over verlies op vele gebieden van het leven. Also, a warm welcome to our listeners from abroad. In May 2019, Edith Eva Eger gave a masterclass in the Netherlands. Dr. Eger is a survivor of Auschwitz and author of the bestseller Keuze. Her daughter Audrey accompanied her on the trip to Europe, a chance to get to know her mother. Audrey is born in 1954, years after the war. In this episode, Audrey talks about her mother and the impact of her mother's story on Audrey's life.
Your mother never told things about her experience in Auschwitz. How old were you when she told you something?
So I don't remember her telling me, but I remember learning about it in Sunday school.
Ah.
And I came home and my dad told me that my mother was in the camp, and I kind of knew, but I didn't really understand what it was till I learned it.
Yeah.
I was in Sunday school and they're talking about it and I was like, oh, that's it.
Oh, that's it. The pieces were falling like in a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
You heard some things and you didn't understand.
I didn't understand.
You didn't
and
understand.
I didn't know to ask.
No.
Maybe I didn't want to know. I don't know.
No.
But
Or you figured out it was a difficult thing to tell about.
it wasn't what you talk about.
Yeah. But it was your father who told you.
Yeah, he was an open book.
Mm-hmm.
He liked to talk about the war.
Yeah.
And he had this one book. And like boyfriends would come to the house and he would sit down with this book and tell the and I'm like, oh please.
There we go again.
And now I wish I would have asked him more questions.
Yeah. Also, you don't like the word or the saying second generation.
Well, I didn't even know what that meant until somebody, my first clue was actually at a leadership, like I told you, I was at a leadership meeting. Famous speaker was there. Anyway, and she told me, you don't seem to be a typical second generation.
Oh, yeah.
I said, what's that? And she said, well, they suffer from depression and all the negative characteristics. And I was curious. I was like, what is that? So I was curious about it, but everything that I've been exposed to seems like it's kind of a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, Debbie Downer?
That's an expression.
What does it mean?
Very, like, depressed.
Oh, okay.
That's an expression I use sometimes. Like, is she a Debbie Downer?
Okay.
Like a person that's always seeing the negative side
the negative
to things.
side. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit in the dark. Yeah, the dark side
which,
of the life.
we all are at some time. It's
Of
just
course.
whether you carry it all. You know how you carry it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, I had never met another survivor until my mother came to town, and it was a Yom HaShoah gathering. They invited her to come, and I was in the parking lot, and I saw a woman kind of lost, and I said, "Can I help you?" She said, "Yes, I'm looking for this meeting. It's upstairs." I said, "Well, I'm going. Can I help you?" And so we're walking, and I said, "Why are you coming?" And she goes, "I'm a survivor." And I said, "Oh." I said, "How did you survive?" Because I've never met another one except my aunt. She said that there was no other choice. And I was like, wow, these are strong women.
Yeah. Do you know what the impact is in your life of the history of your parents?
Yes, I think. I think I didn't really realize the impact, but I'm very sensitive to violence.
Mm-hmm.
Very sensitive.
Okay.
And they kind of joke about me, but when we're choosing a movie,
Mm-hmm.
I won't see anything violent
No.
or scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm kind of sensitive to really painful things.
Yeah.
And so I monitor it so I'm not exposed to too much.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister and I have talked about that.
Yeah.
That we both have that real sensitivity.
Yeah, it's interesting because you didn't experience violence for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. It is the violence your parents.
Right.
Yeah. And even though you're sensitive to it. Yeah.
Right. And I'm kind of curious, you know, with all being here
Mm-hmm.
and this grief and bereavement and all that, I'm wondering how their suffering was transferred to my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious about that.
Yeah.
U luistert naar de podcast De Verliescirkel. Vandaag spreken we met Audrey over haar moeder en haarzelf.
I'm the same age. We are the same age. Huh? And when I heard my parents talk about the war, my mother had another experience, a very other experience. She found it exciting in the war. She was safe. But they were talking about the war and about the food, and I always thought, what are you talking about? That's a long time ago. But it was only, when I was born, it was 8 years ago. How was this for you as a child? Did you also think, oh, that's long ago? Or there was no discussion about the war? It was never talked about.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad did.
Yeah.
But I just, to me, it was painful.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was pain, so I kind of kept it.
Yeah. You step back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they did talk a lot about food and, you know, European. You know, first of all, here I'm in Texas, and they speak Hungarian, and then we're also near Mexico. So there's all this cultural going on, and they had like a Hungarian group of friends. And then, of course, my mother wanted to be American, and, you know, so there's probably the most fun part about being raised in that family, in my family, was you never knew who was going to be at the dinner table. And there was always interesting people of all kinds of cultures.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So I would like to even as a teenager, I wanted to have dinner at home if I knew there was company, because there was always interesting people.
Yeah. Dinner and food are important things, and even though I experience your mother is still not spilling food. If she puts something on the plate and she doesn't eat it, she tries to give it away. Yeah?
Yes.
Like the bread in Auschwitz. She could.
Amazing, isn't it? And I don't know if you noticed at the restaurant last night, she always wants to share.
Yeah, always.
And I said, Mom, why don't you order yourself, and then you could maybe share. Because she's hungry. And you notice she ate everything.
Yeah.
She had some of yours, and she had some. So,
She has a good appetite. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I need to insert myself a little bit here, because I can tell she's hungry and she needs to eat. And what she used to do, we used to go to a restaurant, she wouldn't order anything. And then she would just eat off of everyone's plate. And I said, no, you have to order your own.
Yeah. You also told me that you don't want to carry the burden of your mother. Would you like to tell me what you mean by saying that?
Well, as more I learned about what she went through, you know, and then she became more public about it, it became a burden. I felt a burden. Like now I had to really feel this.
Oh, yeah.
And it was confusing.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know how to do this,
Oh.
what to do, and I don't want to pass this pain on to my children.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it, kind of what I burden meant to me, I think, is the pain.
Yeah. You always had a kind of a wall, stepping
Yeah.
back a little bit from the pain and the stories, and now the
Yeah.
whole world is...
I know.
Yeah. It's reading the book of your mother, and you can't. Now you're...
I told somebody that it was for me coming out too. You know, I just feel like I'm so much more open to
Yeah.
other people's
Yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's been interesting.
Yeah. It touches you, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, for me to go on this trip,
Yeah.
I was pretty. I had to prepare myself
Yeah.
because I knew it was going to be emotional.
Yeah.
I just didn't. But I had to. I was just like, I'm open. Whatever happens, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah. It really feels like another step in your own life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Even also maybe professional, not only personal.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because I have been in a little transition because, you know, I've worked for 30 years, you
Mhm.
know, in different, you know, mainly leadership and inside organizations and sometimes out, but now I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
want, and I don't think I want to go back in.
No.
So I want to, like my mother says, I want to be useful.
Yeah. And what is the impact of the family history in being a mom?
Yeah, it's my most important job. I think unconsciously, ever since I've been a little girl, I've made notes to myself of what kind of mother I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Really be there for your children.
yes.
Yes. Really available.
And if you were to ask them, they'll say probably, sometimes she's too available. I
Mhm.
don't want my children to have guilt.
Mhm.
Like,
But you don't want your children the guilt, not the burden, to be there.
right. Just want them to be, I
Health-
want them to want, yeah, like
Healthy, happy people.
healthy, happy people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of crazy.
I saw those pictures of your family, and I think you did a good job.
Thank
Let's
you.
see. And tonight we are going to the theater.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That was a moment
Yeah.
when that was probably one of my most
Yeah.
emotional moments when the ballerina came out and
Yeah.
they hugged,
And they had,
because that was her dream, was
Yeah.
to be a ballerina.
yeah.
And to have that moment,
Give me goose.
I lost it.
Yeah.
But I loved being able to feel that.
Yeah. It
So,
was so impactful.
wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah.
Ik lees een fragment voor uit het boek De Keuze van Edith Eva Eger. Danseresje, zegt dokter Mengele, dans eens voor me. Hij geeft de muzici een teken om te beginnen met spelen. De bekende openingsakkoorden van de wals aan der schöne blauwe Donau komen de donkere gesloten ruimte binnen. Mengeles ogen worden groot. Ik heb geluk. Ik ken passen op aan der schöne blauwe Donau die ik zelfs in mijn slaap kan dansen. Maar mijn ledematen zijn zwaar, alsof ik me in een nachtmerrie bevind waarin gevaar dreigt en ik niet kan wegrennen. Dans, beveelt hij weer. En ik voel hoe mijn lichaam in beweging komt.
Ik zag dat jij dat dacht. Ik zag dat jij dacht dat je danste toen je toen danste op de melodie van An der schönen blauen Donau. Dat je toen danste in de opera van Budapest.
Je hoorde net een fragment van de voorstelling De Dans Ontsprongen met Igoné de Jong, die als Edith voor Mengele danst, en Pierre Bokma als Mengele. Die middag zijn we bij de repetitie geweest. Dat maakte veel los, zowel bij Edith als bij Igoné.
You guys moved mountains here.
Yeah. But what I found so impactful, not only the ballerina, but this Pierre, this big actor, was sitting there. Afraid. And I said to him, don't you want to meet Edith? And he said, I don't dare. I don't think she wants to see me. Because I played Mengele and I don't think she wants to see me. But your mother wanted to see him.
Of course.
And it was so impactful for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So I guess I'm very impressed with what she does.
Yeah.
I've seen her, I saw her early in her career,
Mm-hmm.
and she really has had to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
She had fears of public speaking. And,
Mm-hmm.
She's worked
She
very
overcome that.
hard.
Yeah.
She's overcome a lot.
Yeah. Are you proud of your parents?
I am.
I want to include your father also, because
And that, yes, I do. My dad, he and I had a very strong bond.
mm-hmm.
And so he would be so proud of my mother.
Yeah.
He would just be over the moon.
Yeah. And are you proud of yourself? I love to ask you that.
That's a hard question, but I am.
Yeah.
I am. I feel like like anybody else, we've had challenges, but I don't stagnate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always moving forward.
Yeah. Is there a calling that's popping up from this experience? You're traveling with your mother.
It's a really good question because I've been thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the themes is the second generation is if I can kind of change the perception of what that can look like.
Mm-hmm.
That would be whatever I want to do. I want to leave an impact, and so that could be an impact.
Yeah.
They were good questions.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
such a gift to meet you,
Yeah.
and thank you for sharing you.
Yeah.
Because you've been so real, and I appreciate that. That you're not a robot or
No, there was kind of sisterhood in us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Bedankt voor het luisteren. Elke maand komt er een nieuwe aflevering van de Verliescirkel online. Wil je op de hoogte blijven? Abonneer je dan op deze podcast.